Hey there! Welcome to Tales Narration.
12 years, to put that into perspective, that is more than 4,000 days of choosing the same person. It is a decade plus two of shared secrets, an entire language of inside jokes, and a history that felt so permanent it was practically carved in stone. For Ethan, 33 years old, the last 12 of those years weren't just a chapter of his life, they were the book itself. He and Sarah were the gold standard couple, the ones who survived the ups and downs of their 20s to stand at the precipice of their 30s, ready to build the ultimate legacy, a family. But 7 weeks ago, Ethan realized that while he was reading from a book of love and commitment, Sarah had been writing a thriller behind his back. This isn't just a story about infidelity. It's a story about the psychological warfare of a partner who uses your own goodness as a shield for their betrayal. For the past year, Ethan's world had been defined by a single goal: becoming a father. This wasn't a journey he took lightly. He knew he had fears, deep ancestral anxieties about whether he could be the man a child needed. To his credit, Ethan didn't just ignore those fears. He went to work. He spent a year in intensive therapy, peeling back the layers of his own psyche to ensure that when that baby finally arrived, he would be the strongest version of himself. Every session was a step toward a future he believed in. He convinced himself that even if the road to conception was rocky, his relationship was the one thing that wouldn't fail. He felt ready to be a protector, a provider, and a partner. He thought they were a team. But 7 weeks ago, Sarah returned from what was supposed to be a simple girls' weekend and decided to set the last 12 years on fire. She confessed that for nearly a year, the exact same year they had been trying unsuccessfully to conceive, she had been having an affair with a coworker. The timing is a jagged pill to swallow. While Ethan was tracking her cycle, praying for a positive test, and doing the internal work to be a better man for her, Sarah was dividing her life and her body with someone else. Ethan describes his current state as wandering through a fog, and it's no wonder. How do you reconcile the woman who held your hand while you discussed baby names with the woman who was actively betraying you in the dark? The most chilling part of this betrayal, the part that truly exposes the depth of the gaslighting, goes back to their honeymoon. Imagine a man on the happiest trip of his life, celebrating a 12-year journey finally culminating in marriage. During that trip, Sarah did something that Ethan can now only describe as pure projection. She turned on him. She accused him of being secretive. She demanded to see his phone, claiming he was hiding things from her. She played the part of the wounded, suspicious bride so well that Ethan actually felt guilty. He felt like he had somehow failed her, even though he was completely innocent. It was her fake outrage over his supposed cheating that led him to suggest they seek couples therapy. He wanted to fix the trust issues that she had manufactured to hide her own sins. For over a year, they sat on a wait list for a prestigious couples therapy clinic. Ethan held onto that wait list like a lifeline, believing that once they got in, they could finally heal the friction Sarah had created. But the universe has a sick sense of humor. Sarah didn't confess her affair when the wait list was long. She didn't confess when they were struggling to conceive. She waited until the very week they finally got their spot in the clinic. She used the therapy waitlist as a countdown clock, only revealing the truth once the help was finally available, effectively making the therapy obsolete before the first session even began. And then there is the other man, a coworker Ethan had met multiple times, a man who had gone through a rough breakup last fall. Because Ethan is a man of high trust and empathy, he didn't blink when Sarah started spending supportive time with this man. They went to group outings, they went to yoga classes together. Ethan encouraged her to be there for a friend in need. He trusted her so deeply that the idea of a yoga class being a cover for an affair didn't even register as a possibility. He looks back now and realizes the cruel double standard. If he had ever suggested a one-on-one yoga class with a female coworker, Sarah would have made it a massive argument. She kept him in a psychological cage of groundless accusations while she lived a life of total freedom. Now, as the world celebrates the holidays, Ethan is in a self-imposed exile. Sarah has gone home to her family, a move that provides Ethan a small mercy of silence but also leaves him in a house full of echoes. He is 33, alone and gutted. He can't face his family. He can't put on a mask and pretend that the woman who was his North Star for 12 years hasn't just led him into a shipwreck. He has only seen one close friend in 7 weeks, the first human contact that felt real since the confession. He is grieving a version of his wife that never existed and a future child that, in a stroke of tragic luck, was never conceived. Ethan is standing in the middle of a shattered life, trying to figure out if any of the pieces are worth picking up. He almost had a child with a person he no longer knows. He almost tied his soul to a master of projection and deceit. The fog is heavy and the weight of 12 years is pulling him down, but for the first time in a decade, Ethan is seeing the truth without a filter. He isn't a father yet, but he is a survivor of a psychological war he didn't even know he was fighting.